alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
Oh, I hate serious videos.
I know. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Ding! We hope you all are well and you are having a really nice week. Today we've got a little bit of a different video. We say that every This is different though. As you've probably seen from the title, today's video is probably something you've never seen on our channel before, and maybe something that you might not have even seen much on YouTube. This is something that you'll understand once we're getting into it, but it's something that is popping up in the media a lot lately, and this whole topic is very like close to home for me. So I wanted to do this video, and I've done a video similar to this before where I've spoke about like dealing with loss, dealing with death, but I did it on my own, which was fine, but I got in a bit of a mess, so I wanted like a little bit of a support system, and who better than my mate Elle, who's on the channel with me.
I obviously wanted to do this video as well because we just feel like we're growing so quickly, which by the way, thank you guys, but we just feel like using our platform for any kind of good and help, then we're doing something right. Yeah, this is going to be a long video. Grab a drink and a snack, and we're just going to be chatting and keeping it very real.
Before we start, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to follow us on socials. A lot of you guys say that you're unaware of our Instagram account, so we're going to put it on the screen for you. Don't forget to follow us and you can see what we get up to day to day.
Most of our stuff's pretty upbeat.
Yeah, this is just one of them videos where you'll actually see maybe the more serious side of us, which is also cool.
Right. We actually have like a little mind map because this subject is so vague.
Broad.
Yeah, broad, not vague.
We did say when we was doing this like mind map thing that it isn't something that you can like discuss and sum up and cover in 20 minutes. But if you guys enjoy this video, then maybe we could make it like a bit of a segment.
I don't even think we've said the word yet, but the whole video is based on drugs, and that can be, you know, the kind of drugs that you take, you smoke, I mean, alcohol is a form of drug. It's such a broad subject, like we say, but we're going to be focusing more on like, what would you call them?
Hard drugs.
We're a bit naive to it because we don't really know.
But then in another sense, which you guys are going to understand for this, we're very clued up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, I couldn't list every name of drug there is. Like, I just couldn't, because I'm not that interested in that side of it. Like, I don't want to know all the ins and outs of all the names of them because I don't care. This all starts because people know that it's one of those situations where I feel like when there's a personal subject, a lot of people think that when you lose someone in your family, it's going to be like cancer, which obviously affects a lot of families. It's affected my family, it's probably affected every one of your families at home, or if not, one of your friends' families. But I'd say the other version of death you hear is like a big accident, but this one I feel like is common, but it doesn't get spoke about enough.
Speaks about it now, because I feel like it's a little bit of embarrassment.
Okay, so I think one of the biggest assumptions that I get through my life is, even like, not even just from YouTube, I think through school, you have your close friends that kind of know, they know because it like word of mouth, things get around. But then there's like, we've grown up in an area where I think most people are quite polite. It's so hard to like describe this situation, but it's not one of them things where you bring up the topic. And then being up until the age I am now, so I'm 21, it's like I said, it's kind of it's hard because it is a bit embarrassing, but then once you know the actual story, there's no embarrassment. It's just a bit of like, I don't want to bring up a sob story. I don't ever want to go through life people feeling sorry for me, because my mum died when I was 9 years old and I've been raised by my grandparents. Because in a nutshell, yes, it sounds really, really sad, and it is really, really sad, but I've not missed out on any life because of it, because I've had like a really amazing upbringing and I've got the best out of a bad situation, if that makes sense. A lot of people assume, some people may know, my mum actually died from a drug overdose, and some people that probably know me from school might not even know that, so if anyone's watching this they might think, well, she covered that well. And the reason it's one of them things where I've never spoken about is because it's so like, it's almost so random, because I'm not from a family where, you know, when you know there's like druggies, the term druggies, like in your area or whatever. I think the whole stereotype is like, so I'm just gonna be real with you, I feel like the stereotype of like a druggie family is maybe someone that's like had a rough upbringing, less money, maybe got parents that are really, really young, like super young, like 16-year-old parents. That's just what you hear now. But my family, like when people hear about it, they're just like, what? Like, where does that come from? Because obviously my mum's mum is my nan, who you guys would all know. If you're like been following us for ages, you'd know my nan is Nan. Let's pop up a picture of Nan. And obviously my mum was raised the exact same way that myself and my brother were raised, because we've all been raised by the same person. But the only difference is my mum got into the wrong group of friends, and that has nothing to do with how my nan raised her, because that's when people are like, what? Like, you'd never think it if you come into our family. Like, I think I'm lucky enough where I've got a really nice house, live in a really nice area, got really good friends. Not like,
you've not been underprivileged.
Yeah.
And there's no reason you would have got into anything like that unless it was with the wrong group of people, which is why I feel like this is so important to like address, because it's so easy, and like because we've like seen this firsthand, we've kind of been like, we know, like our eyes have been open to it. But if you haven't, it's so easy to be drawn in to those kind of people or that kind of personality when you are so young.
Obviously it's a very long story, and it could take a video on its own, like 3 hours for me to explain just the basics. But so my mum grew up normal, literally like me. People that have grown up with my family are like, oh my god, you are your mum's double. I've got her personality. Obviously I only knew her to the age of 9, but people grew up with her. My aunties, my uncles, they're like, you are her to a T. But all it took was, she got a boyfriend when she was about 18, 19. He, cut a long story short, was into drugs. And I think back then, people like say this, my uncle says he was 2 years younger than her. He said it was normal back then, like it wasn't really frowned upon as much as it is now.
It's like smoking used to be very cool, like just normal, everyone did it, not looked down upon.
So there's a lot of people I actually know from my mum's era that have sadly lost their lives to drugs, because it was never spoke about enough. And that's why we want to do this now, me especially, because I feel like unless you hear, like Elle said, firsthand someone that has lost their life to drugs, then you always have that sense of, oh, do drugs actually kill? Do they actually? And we actually wrote this down because one of my cousins, when they were younger, I'm not going to say any names, you can work it out for yourself.
Yeah.
One of my cousins smokes, and we were younger, I just said something like, you know smoking kills, right? Because, you know, little old me, I like to say it as it is. And he was like, but does it? That really hit me. And I always say it to people, I'm like, that kind of like rubbed me up the wrong way, because you see on all the smoking cigarettes, smoking kills. And yes, it does kill. Yet you might not hear of it like commonly. Okay, you're not going to smoke a cigarette, drop down dead. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be fine for like 40, 50 years smoking. Your lungs are going to be messed up, but you'll be fine. But I feel like that is the exact same way people look at drugs, because they don't know someone that has actually died from drugs.
They think, what are the chances?
Yeah, they think, oh yeah, it kills, but like, doesn't
it's
really,
not going to happen to me. And I was saying, when we were discussing this, I think it's the same as like a car accident. You get into a car, you think, I'm not going to have an accident, and then you know someone that does, and you think, oh my god, like that can actually happen. Like, we've both been in accidents, thank god we're okay, but it just takes like the wrong time, wrong place, whatever, just bad luck for it to happen to you and for something to actually go really wrong. The recent story of the girl, her name was Luella, I think, and she took a drug at a festival. I don't know, had she done drugs before?
I'm not sure.
And just by chance, she did actually end up dying. Obviously it's so tragic, but I'm sure
but it's
she didn't
exact,
think it was going to happen
it's
to
exact
her.
same case as what happened to my mum. So my mum, again, this is a really hard video because I can't really, it's hard to just skim the surface and people not form an opinion from it. So obviously if you guys did want a really in-depth story, I'd want to speak to my nan first, want to speak to my family, because there's some bits that are still like really painful to talk about. I've said to my nan I'm filming this, she loves the idea of raising awareness, because obviously if there was more awareness back in the day, my mum could still be here. So obviously my family to an extent are happy with me talking about this, but skimming the surface, yes, but if you want a nitty gritty, we'll discuss, we'll see. This girl, Luella, died from having too much in her system. Her body couldn't take it. That's exactly what happened to my mum. She was a drug addict for about, on and off, almost 20 years. And obviously, like, when she had me and my brother, she come off it, she tried to get clean. And don't get me wrong, this is one thing that because I know, my family know firsthand a drug addict and other people, you always kind of look at them in a bad way. One of my aunties actually always says it's an illness, and even though I lost my mum from it and I know so much about it, I still feel like that is quite a coward way to describe it, because an illness, you can't help having cancer, but you can help being a drug addict. Like, you didn't have to start. But I do agree that to an extent, once you're like deep in the addiction, then yeah, it is an illness. You need it, you physically need it. My nan's told me about times where my mum come off drugs, she was in rehab and she was so ill, like borderline, no, she was anorexic, and she was so ill, and my nan was like, it was painful to watch. Part of me wanted to say to her, have drugs please, because you, like, imagine sitting and watching your daughter basically dying because they need something, they need a substance. Yeah, my mum tried on and off to get off them. She knew she had 2 kids and she physically could not stop, and then one day, God, I'm so out of breath. I still don't know to this day the exact story, because everyone obviously gets upset about it, but I do know that she injected drugs for the first time and her body couldn't handle it, and she literally went into, like, pretty sure cardiac arrest. And she went straight to hospital and was in a coma for about a week. And I remember this, I remember bits and pieces, because I remember getting a phone call from the hospital, and my mum's last name is different to my nan's last name because my nan remarried. So when they rang up and asked for Mrs. Ramsey, which was my mum's last name, I knew that it would be something about my mum. And being a 9-year-old, I answered the phone and I knew that it was about my mum. I just knew it. And I remember, like, my nan and my family were back and forth. I was staying at my auntie and uncle's for 2 weeks. Obviously back then I didn't know a lot that was going on, but my nan was always so honest with me. When I was younger, obviously she kind of sugarcoated it in a child friendly way. She was like, your mum's very ill, she takes these, like, I don't know how she would have said it. I think she did actually call it drugs, because she knew that I was aware. And obviously at a young age, it's one of them things, like, we live in a world where things get around whether you like it or not. So
she didn't want you to find out the wrong way.
She always had me clued up, so that when I did go to school, if someone said to me something horrible and I didn't realise, or if they were just being innocent kids and being like, oh, I heard your mum died from drugs, I wasn't going to be there like, what? Like, what's drugs? Like, what's this? So I've always known. My brother's always known. We've always been very knowledgeable. Obviously, Elle knows a lot about it. My family knows a lot about it. All my cousins, everyone that's like within that teenage 20-year-olds, we're all very clued up on it because we lived around it. Telling you guys this now is kind of giving you our knowledge and an insight. If you don't know someone that is on drugs, then lucky you. But just,
it can happen.
Yeah.
And it's very easy, I think. Well, like I say, we're naive to an extent, but from what I'm aware, it's very easy to get hold of now. I was on the train the other day and you got off the stop before me, and there was some girls, probably, you know, 11, 12, on the phone asking for, you know, I don't know what they were asking for, I have no idea, but it was either cigarettes, some kind of drugs, or like alcohol. They weren't supposed to have it, they knew they weren't supposed to have it, but, you know, it was just normal for them, and they were going to get it, basically. And I was just, I didn't know these girls, so I couldn't say anything, but it was really sad to watch, knowing that they probably don't have a clue what this can do to you, because everyone at school is probably doing it, and you know, peer pressure kicks in with, like, we had peer pressure, you know, trying cigarettes. I get when people say, you know, well, I don't get it, but I know that people do say, just try it. But we've always said, haven't we, what's the need to try it if we know we're not going to want to do it, because you're giving yourself a chance to like it, and we don't want to like it because we don't want to smoke, which is exactly the same with drugs.
It's hard because I feel like to an extent everyone is clued up, and I know everyone in their deep down in their head knows
They know that it's not right.
that it's not right. But again, it comes down to peer pressure. You hear, we still hear now, people from our school in our year, we hear now that they take drugs, and are we surprised? No, not that surprised. But are we like shocked that they're not actually using their brain? Yes, of course. People, when we see them out and about, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm clued up in the sense where I can tell to an extent if someone's taking drugs, but I don't know.
It's just, I think it's mad how it's so normal. Like,
yeah, that is the thing.
I know I could name, I can't count everyone on my hand basically. I know so many people that have either tried it, whatever, or do it on a regular, and because all of them, and because they're okay and all of their friends are okay, they think
it's never going to be, there's never going to be an outcome.
Like, what is the big drama?
And something my nan always said to me when she'd tell me stories is, because I obviously being a kid and not really understanding, I'd say stuff like, but how did she take drugs for 20 years? And it's like, no one starts off with the hardcore stuff, don't be stupid. Yeah. You start off smoking cigarettes, you start off then smoking weed, you then go on to trying this, you then go on to trying that, and gradually you get bored of the feeling.
Your body gets used to it.
It's like anything. It's like taking, if you keep eating the same food over and over again, you're gonna think, oh, I'm bored, give me something new. Like, if you eat chocolate every single day, you're gonna be like, oh, give me something like with a bit of flavour in it, maybe give me some strawberry chocolate. Obviously this is a very childish way of looking at it, but trying to make it understand that you could say, oh yeah, watching this, yeah, what they're saying is true, but it's fine, I only take a really weak drug. Yeah, but it
doesn't matter.
In a year's time, if you take that every day, you're probably going to be bored of it, and someone's probably going to tell you that they've got one that's stronger and gives you more of a kick. Obviously, the stronger the drug, the more dangerous it gets. Bouncing this back off a little bit to alcohol. So I think most of you are aware. I don't know. We're not big drinkers. I'm definitely not. I have a cocktail here and there. Elle drinks more than me, but to the extent where like maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Nothing major.
I mean, we don't have anything against majorly alcohol. We're very clued up and we're aware.
But the same thing, I've grown up around knowing people who are alcoholics, and then again, not getting into it too deep. I just think there's ways that you should think about maybe lowering the chances of ending up with an addiction. And again, some of you will probably watch this and be like, that is so far-fetched, but I don't think you think, oh, in 20 years time I probably will still only drink one glass of wine a night, because again, you'll get bored of the same thing, you'll want to try more. And my nan's always said to me, wow, the wise words of Julie, she's always said,
a wise woman,
every time you go out, the odd time, maybe don't have a drink, stick to some fizzy drinks, because you will rely on what it feels like
having a good time
to have a good time with drinks. Same goes for drugs. So if you go out every single time and you take something to make you feel buzzy, because apparently that's what it makes you feel,
we
buzzy,
don't know.
Then why would you want to go out the next week and not take anything
and not feel that buzzy?
Go out sometimes and don't have like a glass of alcohol. And obviously we're only 21, we've only been allowed to drink for 3 years, but I do go out sometimes, and we have other friends that are like, you're not drinking, you're joking, you're so boring. And it's like,
we don't feel the need to.
I know how to have a good time without drink.
Yeah.
I like to people watch. Yes, if I fancy one, I might have one, but I don't feel the need to drink every single time, and I think more people need to have that outlook.
But even if this is literally just something for you guys to think about, like, we're not saying don't ever drink again, don't smoke again. Drugs is a whole nother ball game.
This is where it gets tricky. It's like, it's all well and good us saying, yeah, drink in moderation, but then I'm not saying in any way, shape or form take drugs in moderation. Like,
no.
Full stop. I will shout this from the roof. Do not even touch them. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Even if it's something that I don't know the ratio of what's a low drug, what's a high drug. But even if like there's someone's like, this isn't even that bad, there's no way you'll even be hooked on it. Why give yourself the opportunity to even like it and then go on to need more? If anything, you're wasting your money, A, and B, you're signing yourself up to doing something that can be like damaging to not only your life but other people's life. You got to think, like my mum, when she started, she probably would have never thought 20 years ahead, oh, I could potentially lose my life, leave kids on this earth and leave like everyone distraught. And there's not a day where we don't all think about her and think like, what if? And my nan every day probably, I know she does, thinks like, could I have done something differently to help her? Could I have done this? And that thought is just horrible. So if you I just think like the reason for this video is just like, have a think. 580,000 people last year in secondary schools tried a form of drug. That's 500,000, and that's in the UK.
I think just teenagers. Yeah,
so up to school year is 18. So between 11, which actually makes me feel physically sick, and 18, 580,000 kids tried a drug last year. I'd like to think that if more people spoke about this topic, that number would be a fraction.
Yeah, 100%. We know we have young viewers, and we did actually get like talks in secondary school, but we know it's not personal. Like, you know, you get a 50-year-old man coming in, putting up pictures of people that have died from drugs. You don't have any connection to them, you don't know them, you're probably not listening, you don't care. So we know that you guys, you know, we kind of do have this form of influence on you guys, and we're very aware of that, which is why we want to put this on you and show you that we care about this stuff. We want you guys to be safe.
That's a little thought for you on this fine Sunday. I know some of you are probably watching this and thinking maybe like, you don't seem that sad or whatever, but you got to think, I'm 21, so I lost my mum 12 years ago. I've been raised by my grandparents, so yeah, I saw my mum a lot, but I wasn't actually, that's another whole part of it. I wasn't allowed to be raised by my mum. Like, if it wasn't for my nan and granddad, myself and my brother, wouldn't know each other probably, and we'd be in the system, we'd be in like fostered or adopted, something like that. So that's another thought. If you guys do like this kind of video, I do think to an extent it is an invasion of privacy, but I feel like if I do help someone by telling a story, then I don't mind. I did, like I said, I asked around a couple people who I thought it was important to get their approval that I did this video, and I checked with my boyfriend, and he was like, I think it's so good, but I do think like you're telling everyone everything. And it's like, yeah, I am, but like I said, if it helps someone, I don't mind that people know my story. And
out of like 143,000, if you help one person,
yeah,
how worth it is that?
Yeah.
So I think we covered, you know, quite a lot. Like we say, there's a lot more to be spoke about. It's up to you guys if you want to see that. If you want to see these types of videos again, it doesn't have to be about drugs, but kind of just more like a sitting down. I guess it's a little bit of advice.
Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do let us know in the comments, because yeah, we want to know maybe if we did help someone. We'd like to know maybe if you shared this story with someone else. Not even just sharing the video, but going on and telling other people that like, hey, maybe think about that before you do it, because I know someone that knows someone. I know someone that's mum actually lost their life because of that. And yeah, like we said, that is the whole point of this video.
And we do feel like we know you. We feel like you're our friends.
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, of course you know me.
I know you pretty well.
We love you guys, and I hope this video was nice and not nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, a bit interesting, a bit of an eye-opener, and we will see you in our next video. Bye. Bye.